Hi, Al.
Yay.
Oh, finally. Yay. Okay, goodness gracious.
Well, I think in my exuberance I may have hit the wrong thing, and then it's been a crazy, crazy hour.
Yeah, sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, it's what what Amber's alluding to. And hey, everybody, it's good that you're all here. I appreciate y'all coming out today. Episode 13 of the KetovoreKast. Said it
That's pretty
right.
exciting. Yeah,
Two
yeah.
shows in a row.
It's so funny because when I said it, I was like, wait, did I say it right? Okay, we're just sad.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. It's I'm righteously medicated though to deal with it right now, and I'm not going to apologize for that in the least bit. I found out a little less than an hour ago that my dad, 81-year-old father's kidneys are functioning at a whopping 11%.
That's terrible.
And he and my mom are going to talk about dialysis. Is it going to be, what's his quality of life going to be? Hello, happy belly supper lady.
Hello.
And anyway, knowing my dad, I don't see him going the dialysis route, and that means renal failure is just around the corner. And the part that's really the most upsetting to me right now is that it was so damn unnecessary. I
Yeah,
don't believe his doctor ever told him that type 2 diabetes was reversible.
I'm sure you didn't.
I don't believe it. I just cannot, as hard-headed as my father is, I just can't imagine that if he'd have known that it was reversible, that he wouldn't have done so after he had to give himself the first couple of insulin shots. I
Right.
know my dad pretty good. You know, if I'd have been, there was a time when I was sick, I might have been that hard-headed, but I hated pain too much to give myself
Yeah.
shots for that many years. That's the frustrating part. That's the part that really,
Yeah.
we all get old, we're going to die. It happens. It's going to happen to all of us. One day our hearts are going to quit
Hi,
beating.
honey.
It's game over. Hello, Bob. But, we don't have to hurry it along.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I think that's part of, that's the reason why we do all this dietary stuff. That's the reason why we do podcasts, why we do Instagram lives.
Yes.
It's because, A, we wanted to live a better quality of life and have some longevity.
Yeah,
And we want everybody else to have it.
exactly right.
And, you want to see hard-headedness played out. My father's a classic case. What I want, it matters more than anything else in life. And now it's killing him. Thank you very much, Fit Before 50 and beyond. Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, you stop and think about all the misery. Just think of just within our viewership here and our followers that we have between both our pages and whatnot. Every one of us has family members and friends who've suffered ourselves, who've suffered horribly for decades, just because, not because we were stupid people, but just because
I
we were told to do the wrong things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I couldn't imagine if my dad had known that he would have continued on his path.
Well, what about my
But
mother? The same kind of situation going on with her because her whole life was, low fat and, you ate the margarine, the canola oil, all that kind of stuff, fat's bad. And she lived her life that way. And so she would eat like salads with this fat-free dressing and all this kind of stuff. And now she's dealing with so many issues. And a huge part of it is the Hashimoto's. And, that's got to have something to do with it, the
of course,
diet and then, cancer and, we just keep getting more and more unsettling news as it goes along. And I can't help but think that a lot of it could have been prevented. I mean, maybe not, but I feel like it would have been. And that makes me very angry.
it's infuriating because it was so useless.
Yeah.
All of this misinformation,
Exactly.
going back as far as Popeye the Sailor Man with "Eat me spinach."
Ooh.
I'm going to get that muscle and kick what's his name's ass again, and you're going to get all psyched up and programmed to think that spinach is good. But you know what? Honest to gosh, I never thought that stuff was any good. I
used to love it. I'll be honest.
I thought Popeye was crazy.
I ate cans of it as a 3-year-old for breakfast. That's what I wanted. Don't give me any sweets. I wanted spinach.
I ate it when it was on sale.
Uh-oh. One of us is froze. Is it me? Oh, no. Oh, no. Well. Can y'all hear me? Oh, I guess we lost Brett. I guess it's... Okay, you can't hear me, Laurel? No? Okay, it's Brett. Okay. All right. Let's try to get him back. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Let's see if he'll pop back up. Sorry about that. Okay, there you are. Yay. I was like, is that me or is it you? I'm not sure.
Well, I'm going to guess that my internet's the one that crapped out just because your picture vanished on my screen. Okay. So that's usually the indication that I was the offender. And we're going to run into that time to time.
Yeah.
Well, Aunt, we appreciate you sneaking in. But to what you were talking about, we were so programmed. We were so horribly misinformed.
Oh, yeah.
And these myths, the backwards thinking about protein is bad for kidneys. Protein, oh my God, protein, the stuff that that our heart is made of.
Don't eat too much of it.
And cholesterol, our brain, and half our brain is cholesterol. But, if you eat that stuff, you're going to die. It's just so much. It's all to line people's pockets.
Breakfast, the most important meal of the day. Don't you forget that one. Be sure you're eating your breakfast now.
Another just ridiculous fallacy. Yeah. And wow, how many of us have suffered because we got addicted to the cereals and we.
Oh, I was a cereal queen. I'll just tell you, I'd rather have that for supper, anything.
That was like crack cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
The last, before I went low carb, well, even when I was low carb, I would eat that garbage because I didn't know enough not to.
I switched to Special K.
Oh no, darling, honey. If I'm going to eat cereal, there's two choices. If I was going to eat cereal, it was Captain Crunch.
Oh yeah.
Or it was Lucky Charms.
Cocoa Pebbles. That would be mine.
Like they just candy, crunchy, yummy.
Oh yeah.
The candy's all it was.
And cold milk.
Oh yeah. Had to drown it in milk. Drown it. And that milk was just like. Now that we know what we know about sugar, that was like liquid cocaine.
Oh yeah. But oh no, it's terrible. It's awful. It's just awful. It tasted awful. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, now the smell of it would sicken me. Fat-free milk. Now, see, I never did fat-free milk. Fat-free milk to me was the nastiest.
Yeah.
Well, there was nothing milky about it. It was white water.
Well, let me discuss to you. When I was so freaked out over fat, you can't have fat. When I was a teenager and early adulthood, I would have skim milk. But not only that, I would add water to the skim milk.
Oh my
so basically,
gosh.
I had cereal with water that kind of had a slight milk look to it. Yeah. You can ask my husband. He'll tell you. He's seen me do it.
I believe you.
He would just like, oh God, because he was always, whole
That's
milk if he was going to
that's
have it.
just. And now look at us. We're eating fat like it's going out of style because we've been informed.
Yeah.
We know what the truth is. We know what real human nutrition is. And it's not coming out of a box from Kellogg's, made in
No.
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Mm.
You're exactly right, Tall Redhead. The lies within the food industry are deep, and they've been ingrained across the world, unfortunately, in many cases. You look where Western food culture has spread. Obesity has skyrocketed. Type 2 diabetes has skyrocketed. Longevity has decreased.
Yeah.
I mean, wake
yay,
up, folks.
US, yay.
Well, yay, food companies, yay, big pharma, yay, big food. They're the ones making the bank on that. I mean, if the U.S. Treasury was filling up, well, okay, then we're funding this, that, and the other with it. Okay, and you can choose to be a part of that or not. But we were lied to. We were told to eat things that were not good for us. And we did so under the false premise that it was healthy. Healthy grains, anyone?
Made me super healthy, I'll just tell you that.
How many people in our lives are dealing with or have died, lost a toe, a foot, a finger, their lives from type 2 diabetes? Exactly. I mean, if you take my dad out of the equation, I can think of 4 cousins and a couple of aunts and uncles. It's just pervasive throughout our society. And that's why we do these kinds of podcasts all the time, so that people can learn the truth.
Or at least be informed enough to where they can go and find out for themselves.
Exactly.
Instead of just blindly following. Don't believe us. That's fine. Go out, do your own research. I did. And what I found was just horrifying. So, if nothing else, just go do your own research. I mean, You don't have to believe us. You don't have to believe us.
Even though we're extremely honest people.
Yeah. Well, we're not lying, but
We really are. Oh gosh. I don't want to beat that issue to death. I do want to say one thing before I forget it. I did not have any cramps last night.
Oh, yay. So that's working.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I was so tired of waking up, and they would hit always at 2 or 3 in the morning. Never right before I wake up. Never early at night, Oh no, right at the time where it's almost impossible to do anything to go back to sleep. So I'm happy about that. And then while I mentioned the salt, I'll go a couple other little unexpected updates to share with you. These are of a bit more positive nature. Sort of, kind of, a little TMI here. Loose stool returned. Yay, loose stool! And what I've deduced from that is that I need to decrease my fat intake a little.
Oh.
My body is becoming more effective at burning fat, which is what I was told would happen over time. It's different for everybody. We all become fully fat adapted at different rates of speed. And I'm going to increase my lunch patties from 8 ounces to 9 ounces. And I'm going to decrease the bacon by 2 slices each meal starting tomorrow.
Just kind of ease into it.
Well, my goal is to find out, because there's a point where if I drop too low on the fat, I'm not going to have any energy.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get right to that point where I'd start feeling the loss of energy, and then I know just to increase it just a little bit, and I should be set. That's the theory. That's the working theory.
Well, we'll see.
And, but it's just a tiny little tweak. And our Planet Fitness membership is going from the white card to the black card thing because Sunday Danielle's going to start going to the gym with me.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to, the goal, I got to get rid of the remnants of the spare tire. There's a reason why nobody sees me without a shirt on completely while I'm sitting down, because nobody needs to see that.
Well, we thank you.
I mean, I love you all, but I don't want to hurt none of you. But, and I believe this is going to facilitate that. How's your energy been? What's been going on with you in that regard?
I mean, I still am nowhere near where I was when I was doing just regular keto. It's just not there. But it's a little better than it was. I don't know. I feel like I'm still adapting, or it could even be because my sleep is a little wonky and stress is kind of kicking my butt right now with my mom's issues and such. So, yeah, it could be just a combination of things. I don't know, but I'm not just super energetic. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can go out dancing tonight and all that. That's not a problem. But, day to day, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't really feel like running around the block.
I believe that you had more going on with you than you were aware of, and
Yeah.
you're healing. Your body's going to take a long while to adapt. I mean, just looking at your before and after pictures, you really did a number on your body for a very, very long time. Very
long time. Way too long.
So it's understandable that it would take you. I mean, look at it for me. It took me. Today's 396 days, and it took me to get to this point to realize, or for my system to become more efficient at burning fat.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking a question. Brett, do you have a lot of excess skin, or has carnivore help with that? Healthy Mission Wellness. It's a great question. I lost 94 pounds over 3.5 years doing low carb and walking. So because I lost that huge chunk slowly, I had a tiny little bit of loose skin on the back of my leg. With carnivore, the collagen that I consume with bone broth has been huge. I don't have a loose skin anywhere. And my skin has healed. One of the things Danielle said in a recent interview, my wife, was that she was watching me going, he's starting to look younger now, and I kind of resent that because my skin was healing. Yeah, and it's something else I want to throw in real quick so I don't forget it, because like I said, I'm medicated, and I don't want to forget things. There's a new interview up at Carnomad featuring me and my beloved wife, Danielle. And half of it or more is about her experience with her arthritis and whatnot and why she got into carnivore. And then the rest of it is about how carnivory has affected our marriage. So I encourage everybody to go check that out. And you, my dear friend, you also had an interview lately. You've been kind of busy in that way.
I have. I've been very busy. Yeah. I had a lovely interview with a lady named Tracy. She's from Australia. So that was super cool to talk to somebody with the accent. And she's like, I don't have the accent. You have the accent. I'm like, well, I love yours. She goes, I love yours. It was really kind of funny. So, here's this Aussie and this Texan, and we're having our little conversation. It was really good. And it got, I'm really proud of that one because it really got to my whole journey. I mean, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Honestly, there's a lot of ugly, and I don't really talk about that a whole lot, but I did reveal quite a bit. And nobody's journey is easy. Everybody's got their issues, and I kind of laid it out there for the most part. I mean, there's still some things that I have not shared, but for the most part, it was a very honest, very open kind of interview. So, and it was, really well done. She's so nice, and it just made it very easy for me to open up. So I'm really proud of that one. And I have the link and everything on my profile. And where it talks about the interview. It's like the little pink thing. So anyway, if you want
Yeah,
to check that one
I
out.
highly encourage everybody to go to check it out. It's a very powerful interview, and I've told Amber since day one she's a natural at doing this. She doesn't believe me,
Mm.
but she's gonna get more and more opportunities as time goes on to share her
I hope
story.
so. I think
And,
more people need to hear these stories and to understand that they're not alone. That, there's a lot of just, backstory that you don't know about. Okay, yeah, I was this big and I lost this much weight. Okay, whoopee. That is such a small, small part of it. You have no idea.
oh
And
yeah,
so, everybody's got a story, and I think it's so important to share. Just like I keep, telling Laurel, Happy Belly Supper Club, that her story is amazing. And I'll be interviewing her here really soon so you can hear her story. And
awesome. Because after
so,
you
yeah.
interview her, I'm going to interview her.
Yeah. Interview hog.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's me. That's me. That's why I'm letting you go first. I'm teasing.
Letting me.
Yeah, let you. Like I could stop you from doing anything. Uh, yeah,
You could try.
tell a Texas girl what she is or is not going to do
Oh,
and see how
yeah.
well that
Oh,
goes.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, ask my husband. Yeah, he learned a long time ago. Don't say you can't do something. And so he does all this reverse psychology, and it took me a while to catch on, but then I was like, hey, wait a minute now. I got your number.
Oh my goodness. Um, I'm looking at our list of things.
I think we've missed some stuff from early on that I don't. Uh, let's see, when we were going in and out and craziness. Let
Oh,
me
you
see
mean
if
when
I
we got
can.
disconnected and
Yeah, and
whatnot?
all that. Yeah, I
Well,
just want to
that
kind of go
was,
back and make sure.
well, it's all about the fact that we were deceived. We were deliberately deceived about what to eat. And our society's paying a huge price for it, and we as individuals are paying for it.
Fiber. I'm sorry, Fit Before 50 and Beyond. My parents have both started carnivore this week. They're fed up of
Awesome.
feeling sick. That's awesome. I saw that
Awesome.
one come through. I wanted to address that because I think
That's
that's awesome.
fantastic. That's so great. Yeah, I saw my dad in June, and I asked him, I said, did anybody ever tell you that type 2 diabetes was reversible? And you've got to know my father. He wouldn't admit to making a mistake for love nor money. You couldn't stack the dollar bills high enough. You couldn't give him a big enough, fancy enough car to make him admit he made a mistake. So he's like, oh yeah, I knew all along. And I'm like, no, you didn't. And my mom even agreed, I don't believe what he said at all, because she knows him as well as I do. He was never told. Now, imagine knowing what all of us know now. How rational a decision would it be to go back to eating that garbage?
It, but there are so many people who are so incredibly addicted that it makes it very difficult to really, you know, think about that. Just like an alcoholic knows that liquor is not good for them, but they're still going to do it. So it's kind of one of those hard things that people are so into it that they don't even realize how addicted they are. And so their attitude is like, well, I don't care because this is good and I'm going to eat it. Because I was there, I've done that, but now I look at it and I'm like, it's just not worth it to me because I don't want to stick a needle in my body and I don't want to, have parts of my body amputated or stay on medication because of high blood pressure. I just don't want to live like that. And I don't want to be one of those sickly older people who still have my mind. Not that I would have my mind, I don't know. But, and then not have the body to be able to do what you want to do. That's kind of what happened to my grandmother. Everything just fell apart, but she still had her mind. And it was, I think, very frustrating for her. She just couldn't get around to do anything. And I don't want to be like that. So to me, it's not worth it. But, you have all these people who are so addicted and just haven't had a big enough reason. They haven't hit rock bottom enough. It took a major health scare for me to kind of shake me up out of it. For the first time I lost 100 pounds, but other
That was
people,
practice.
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
It was just,
I just enjoy it, up and down, roller coaster riding. I love the challenge of losing weight. So I just figure I'd just pack it back on so I can lose it again.
I marvel at people. I see it, and you see it too, and folks that are paying attention see it regularly. How people who get with keto, they'll drop a bunch of weight, and then they'll teeter totter. They'll go to a family gathering and have a piece of pie, thinking, oh, just one piece of pie won't hurt. And then the next thing you know, that one piece of pie in 6 weeks is ballooned into they're bringing cake home again.
Yeah, it's easy to do. It's very easy to do, especially if you have the personality where you're, tend to be addictive anyway. It just kind of puts you down a rabbit hole. A lot of people are like that. I've kind of finally feel like I am so far out of that hole that I don't really have that issue. I mean, I can look at things and go, oh, it looks good, but I don't really care about it. And even if I was to have some of it, I would be like, okay, maybe it was good, maybe it was, I don't know. But I don't really care enough to go, oh my God, I have to keep having it. I finally broke through that enough where I feel pretty safe with that. Not that I'm going to, just test myself all the time, but, there does come a point where, if you're away from it long enough, it just doesn't matter.
It's really irrelevant in the big scheme of things now. Somebody, Fit Before 50 Beyond says they just view half of the stuff in the supermarket as poison. I view everything outside of the meat department and outside of the butter. If they got seafood, that's meat. I count that in. Everything else is poison to me. And you always have to walk through the damn cereal aisle to get to the meat thing, and you have to smell that. Healthy Mission Wellness says she has 110 pounds to lose. Major card addict trying to fight the insulin resistance fight. Listen, you could do this. All right?
Absolutely.
We did it. We didn't accomplish it because we're superhumans. We don't have special willpower. There's no special juju to this. It's just a matter of, okay, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Because ultimately, you can plan. I urge you to plan. Go low carb, keto. You cannot go wrong with a ketogenic diet.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Follow that. You can gain control of your health instead of being controlled by your health.
And so you're basically saying you believe that for some people it's better to kind of start slow. Like
I believe for everybody.
Both of us did that.
I think it's paramount.
I do too personally, but I think it just a little bit at a time, because then you get used to it and it's no big deal. Then you take the next step. It's not that big of a deal. Next thing you know, you don't really care. And I went low carb, keto, intermittent fasting, and carnivore. And there was no hard transitions. I'm not saying there wasn't adaptations along the way, but as far as the transitions go, it was super easy for me. Every single one of those steps, because I, did it at step intervals, And some people will tell you, oh no, you just jump in and you just go straight carnivore, you just go straight whatever. Well, some people it might work for, but I think the majority, and especially those of us who were food addicted, I think it's very important to kind of take those steps. And I know there's different of opinions on this, but I also think that when you're doing keto and you have these certain substitutes, I think that is okay if it helps you get over the food addiction and lets you move on and get fat adapted and be able to, not feel that hunger to where you don't really care about that anymore. Because I was there. I did all that. I did all of the treats. I did the fat bombs. Not a lot, but I did. And I believe it helped me, number one, because I never, ever felt deprived. And that was a huge thing for me at failures of the past diets for me. And by doing that, I just got used to it. And then I wasn't missing the old food. Then I was able to kind of move on. And then I started cutting stuff out, and it was not a big deal. And I know a lot of people have, different opinions on that. But for me, it worked. I'm carnivore. I'm not eating that anymore. So it worked. I'm just saying.
I want to say hi to Tenacious Tangles, who just wandered
hey.
in. She's a great carnivore, working out in the gym like a monster, I tell you.
Ooh, I saw her picture today, and she is on fire. Yeah.
Big time.
Girl, you look good.
Time. Absolutely. Make your butcher your new best friend. I recommend that if you have access to a butcher.
Exactly. I don't either. Not around here.
If you have, well, we've got access to butchers. It's just Florida is not like cattle land. It's swampland and Walt Disney and the oceans, and the rest of it's a sandbar. And we got gators. That's about it.
That's some good eating.
Well, they're not. They're endangered. The population has to get so big before gator meat finally gets back on the market, and that's just not happening. It's crazy. Some other things that we could talk about. How's the bone broth experiment going with you? You've been now what? 3 weeks, 2 weeks? What now with the bone broth?
I just did my third batch last night. Okay. So I would say at least 3 weeks, I guess. I personally, I love it. I find it very comforting. It's tasty. It's just kind of soothing. I don't know. There's just something about it. Maybe that's what people feel when they have like hot tea at night. I'm not into like hot tea at all, but a lot of people would always talk about how good that is before you go to sleep and all. And the bone broth, I just love. And I'll tell you what, my husband and my mother like it even more than I do. My husband's always like, can I like have another one? And so that's why I got that big old huge roaster thing that Danielle uses, so I can make big old batches. So when he wants more, or if I decide to start having some in the morning as well, then I have lots of it. But I love it. I feel like my skin is looking really well. My nails are growing like crazy. I mean, look at these nails. Ooh. And I cut them down a lot.
She's going to stab somebody with them one day.
That's right. Yeah. Claws. But my hair, it's like, ooh, I'm having to have my hair done. I mean, yeah, it grows out really fast. And yeah, you can see I need, my hair done. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's a good negative. But yeah, no, I feel, is it helping me sleep? I don't know. Maybe, but, I have so much other stuff going on right now. It's kind of really hard to tell. I mean, if I didn't have it, would it be worse? I don't know. So.
Well, I'm not going to suggest that you stop drinking it to find out, because it's obvious that it's working. It's doing its thing.
Yeah. I love the way it's making my skin. I mean, that's.
I believe bone broth's played a big part in why my skin continues to heal and improve and freak people out.
I totally believe it.
It's really, it's been an unexpected gift. It's one of those non-scale victories I just didn't anticipate at all in any way, shape, or form. Somebody said there's a lot of grass-fed beef in Florida. Well, see, here's the problem. There's not enough of it so that it's affordable for people like me to be able to go buy. It's available. I could go buy bison too if I wanted to pay $18 a pound.
Whoa!
Or
I could have to pay.
Or I could buy elk for $24 a pound.
Oh wow! We get it a lot cheaper here in Texas. Wow.
Well, we're in Florida.
Duh. Wow. And my husband, right? You're going to bring home an elk in a couple of weeks, right? That's what y'all are going to do, bring home an elk and fill up my freezer, right?
I hope they do.
Yeah.
I want to see
last
pictures.
Year, not so good. Yeah. Well, I told him he's not going to be able to live it down if he doesn't get one this year. So Mama wants an elk. So there you go.
Well, I'm sure he's thinking, well, crap, I better find one then.
Especially my sure shot son. If he doesn't get one, he will not hear the end of it from me. No.
Oh dear. When the non-outdoors mama starts picking on people for being bad shots.
Or not even finding them. I mean, last year they couldn't hardly even find them. And I was like, as much studying as y'all did, come on. They're so outdoorsy. I'm like,
well,
you
it's
should be
not
able to
like
just smell them.
it's not like the elk are stupid or anything. They're,
Well,
they grew up surviving in that environment. And the wounded elk, as they're running through the forest before they fall over dead, they're screaming, "Here's how they shot me! Here's how they shot me!" Because a vegan told me. It's what happens when you're feeling silly on a Friday afternoon. And that's where I'm at right now. One thing I want to talk about has to do with everybody's laughing. That's good.
Hunters, yes, we are.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm not. I admit I'm not. I'm a weenie. I can't do it.
I have hunted.
I'll cook it.
I used to hunt when I was a kid, and we never shot anything we weren't going to eat. That's what we were taught.
That's the way it should be. Absolutely.
And my wife and I hope to retire to Maine. And there's going to be a shotgun purchased and a rifle purchased, and I will go out and get me some dinner now and then. And once I learn the lay of the land well enough, I tell you what, wearing my own bear pelt on an Instagram Live, now that would be shocking.
Oh, no. 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 No.
Just had this image, had to share it.
No. No.
It's not a goal, but, if Smokey Bear wanders in front within range and I got the right weapon, Smokey's dinner. I'll have Smokey steaks, Smokey Bear steak. I do with the bow and process the meat. There you go. That's awesome.
Laurel, you do?
That's fantastic.
My. Yeah. My family are bow hunters primarily.
My dad bow hunted, but he never, ever, ever hit anything. He could hit the target. I watched him bullseye at 50 yards with that compound bow. But he did finally get a deer. My dad was the one who deer hunted for 25 years before he finally shot one. And he looked down at that deer and he thought, I've spent $10,000 to get to this point. And suddenly it didn't seem like that good of an investment to him. And that was the last time he went deer hunting, so help me.
My boys live for it. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me tell you, as soon as they get back from Colorado on the elk hunt, they're going to start planning for the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all they do. And they just lost their deer lease. So they're like, okay, we're going to put in for all these hunts. So now they're trying to figure out what they're going to do during the deer season.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, oh, my.
But see, it's the cool thing about meat. If you're in the right area you need to, you can go hunt your own food. And you can't get any more ancestral than that. I mean, that's as natural as it comes. And it's truly what we did for millions of years, we were with bows and arrows and sticks and spears and bones and whatnot.
Yep.
But that's how we climbed. That's what happened when we came out of the trees, all because we needed to eat meat. That's today's.
Laurel, you know what? You are just really, I don't know.
Florida deer are scrawny. I don't doubt it. She's saying Florida deer are scrawny. I don't doubt it. They got nowhere to run.
Deer are kind of scrawny too. There's way too many of them. They're overpopulated, so they're kind of scrawny. Oh yeah, we hunt hogs too. I don't. They do.
I've never hunted hogs. Never hunted hogs. Listen, I appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out with us. If you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We love taking your questions. We'll stop in the middle of what we're saying if we see a question, as a rule.
Anyway.
If the internet permits.
Yeah.
Man, what a day. What a week it's been. I mean, stop and think about it. All the deceit for all these decades, your mom is now having a horrible time because of cancer and ailments that she's incurred because she followed the directions of what she thought she should eat.
I really feel that. I do.
And we're seeing my dad suffering the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then in our own lives, we followed suit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Again, thinking we were doing the right thing. And people wonder why this programming is so hard to break now.
Yeah.
Because it's been embedded into our brains as soon as we're able to comprehend and speak the language well enough.
And you know that because when somebody finds out how you're eating, whether it's ketogenic, the normal way or all the way to carnivore, they look at you like you're doing something horrible, like you're going to die from a heart attack, or your, liver or your kidneys are going to give out because you're just eating too much protein and this and that, or the fat's going to clog your arteries. And it's so ingrained. And I believe that too. My goodness. I mean, seriously, there was a point in my life where I was eating almost zero fat. And I'm not even kidding you. Yeah, you can do that. I almost did. And, of course, I've said this before, my hair falling out, and it was awful. But I did, because I believed that fat was the enemy. Fat made you fat. And that's something that's been ingrained in us for a long time. So it's a very hard thing to break or to change. And that's why it's so important to do what we're doing, and for others to tell their stories, and, just get that information out there to at least make somebody curious, to where they're like, maybe I'll look this up. Maybe I'll read a book. Maybe, who knows? And the more people who do that, the more it'll get out there and just kind of keep snowballing until maybe, just maybe one day enough people will say, you know what, this is enough of this, and do something about it. But till then, I mean.
Robert Sims just typed in regarding the kidney issue, talking about Dr. Westman, a well-known kidney doctor. He's an expert he's just a good guy. He says lesions in the kidneys are why protein can be leaked, protein urea, due to diabetes. That's what basically is going on with my dad right now, I do believe. And part of me still wants to run up there if I thought anybody would listen to me and say, listen, let's just eat ground beef and bacon, or let's eat let's have steaks for the next few days and just see how you do. Because I'm not 100% convinced that he couldn't see some improvement if he just stopped poisoning himself long enough.
Yeah.
And of course, they've got him on, a trillion meds. It's really a frustrating thing. Yeah, happy Belly Supper Club. I'm right there with you, darling. Somebody saying, I was just shopping 2 days ago, noticed in the grocery so many older folks that look so sick, 60s, and must use a cane. I see people here at the Walmart in their 30s and 40s on a cane. Young people, young men and women riding around in those damn little carts like something out of the movie WALL-E.
Weight Watchers? And just brought up that Weight Watchers has a plan for kids now.
They got an app. They came out with an app for kids.
Oh, my goodness.
Why in God's green earth is there a need for kids to have a Weight Watchers app?
That's so sad.
Because
I think the first time I was on Weight Watchers, I was under the age of 18.
Well, they know why it's smart to put those apps out there if you want to keep the addiction cycle going.
And kids, they use phones, they use apps, that's how you're going to get to them. That's really sad. I mean, I remember thinking that Weight Watchers was the ultimate program, well balanced. And, the more I learn, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes me so angry. And I've done that so many times. That's where I lost my 100 pounds the first time, was Weight Watchers. Sure, it works, but you're hungry, you're hangry, and it's not going to help you, because you're going to have to continue eating that way for the rest of your life, and cutting calories and increasing your exercise, cutting calories, because you just can't keep eating like that. And not to mention the deprivation, the aggravation, the frustration. It is just not sustainable.
It's not. And I know somebody I don't want to say any more than I just know somebody firsthand who's doing Weight Watchers. They've lost a ton of weight.
Sure.
They don't look healthy at all. Their skin is, it looks like I could just take my finger and lightly tap and punch my finger through it. They just don't look healthy. They look, and their eyes are all sunk. They eat a ton of fruit. Oh, I can eat as much fruit as I want.
Yes. And I used to eat like 3 bananas a day on Weight Watchers.
So they're just shoving tons of this inflaming fiber and tons of sugar into their mouths. Where's Jenny Craig?
Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started on that one. Yeah, I've done that one too.
Let's see. Somebody say, did Meals on Wheels at church with her mom made her eat the balanced meals made for seniors? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Hospitals too. Balanced, yeah.
Oh, Weight Watchers is starvation with sugar. Starvation with sugar. That's all Weight Watchers is. And, hey, they've made a ton of money.
Yeah, they sure have.
As soon as they started losing money or started not making as much money, that's when the keto crotch scare came out. Everybody's going to keto crotch. Well, I'm here to tell you 396 days of living a ketogenic way of living, 0 keto crotch observed. And I can count my wife in. She's over a year now into carnivore. No keto crotch observed. Believe me, I would have said something. Maybe not publicly, but I would have said something.
Yeah. That's really, it was funny. But people actually freaked out over this. Oh my gosh, you need to quit that keto stuff because you're going to get that keto crotch. Number one, they don't even know what the heck keto crotch is. Number two, it's ridiculous because in order to have any kind of the nastiness going down there, you need the sugar. And if you're not eating the sugar, you're not going to be having those kind of issues. So it's ridiculous all the way around and not proven, by the way. So.
Tall Redhead says 2.5 years keto and that she hasn't seen it yet. That's good. Somebody, Fiber Fit Before 50 and Beyond says 96 days in. And she only started this by doing a 2-week experiment. Nice. Well, somebody needs to sit with you and explain just exactly how long 2 weeks is, my friend. Because it's a little shorter than that, but I applaud your endeavor. I'm happy for you.
Awesome, yeah. I've 790 or something days on keto and carnivore, whatever, and have yet to have any issues like that. So I don't know.
If you still use soap and water, I don't think it's really possible for anything like that to even occur.
Not without the sugar. I mean, for the bacteria and all
Exactly. And I remember, my first marriage, my first wife, she used to get yeast infections all the time. All the time. And she was fastidiously clean.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that.
And she was constantly coming down with it. And God rest her soul, we divorced years before she passed away, but she ate herself to death. Intestinal cancer, lower intestinal cancer took her out. She literally ate herself to death. And I can remember telling her, because her grandmother had cancer and died. And then her mom, cancer killed her mom, basically. And I'm like, you might want to make some dietary adjustments because by this time she was extremely obese. And it killed her.
Yeah, a lot of one side of my family actually 2 sides of my family have diabetes really bad. But what the American Diabetic Association tells you to do, it's like you have all these carbs. I'm dying because in one meal, they have more carbs than I have in a week. Well, now, I mean, it would be longer, but when I was on keto,
sure,
it was like, I was dying. And I'm like, how can this be good? How? I don't even have that. And it's like crazy. But at every meal, they were told they could have this. So I would bring keto stuff to these family functions just for me and for some of my family, if they want to or whatever. And it was delicious. And I let my family, some of the ones that had like diabetes, taste it, and they loved it. And they couldn't believe that. And they were like, oh, but we're allowed to have, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, just no. But that's what they're told, and that's what they believe. And they just keep, taking the injections or whatever, the medication, and, have their whatever limit it is. I can't remember what it is now, but God, it was high.
Oh, and what they call low carb?
Yeah.
50 carbs? Are you serious?
Per meal. And that's not
it's
even
insanity. Snacks. It's insanity.
Yeah.
It's not low carb. That's to eat whatever whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, it's not 50 carbs in a day. It's 50 carbs. It was more than that per meal. Plus, they allowed certain ones for snacks. So you're eating 5 and 6 times a day. Number one, that's terrible. And number two, you're allowed to have all these carbs, It's like, oh my God. It just kills me because I see so many issues that they're going through. And it's like, but I mean, you can't force somebody to change. They have to have the information, and then they have to want to,
I believe it's my experience that once somebody's had the ketogenic diet, carnivory explained to them, and they see with their own 2 eyes the results, it works on them. One of the questions that CarnoMed Mike asked us when he interviewed us was somebody wanted to know, they had a loved one who's not on the ketogenic carnivore way, and they're not interested, and their health is really crapping out on them. And what would they suggest? And you got to always be the example. Because if you're the example, then they can't unsee what they're seeing. That all our co-workers, our family members, they can't unsee the results once they've observed us.
Yeah.
They won't forget the smiles. They won't forget how healthy you look. It will blow their damn mind.
Yeah.
And then they're going to ask, well, how have you done it? And you're going to explain it to them. And it's going to seem just crazy and impossible. But if you're around them long enough, those results, they work on them. And I watched it happen to my wife. I describe it. I knew it had to run through the Danielle maze fully from beginning to end. And then she would come to the conclusion on her own that she needed to come to.
Yeah.
And I believe that's possible for everybody if they're exposed, as you said, to the right information and they see it in action. And that's why.
In the words of.
Go ahead.
In the words of Ken Berry, he always says, if somebody says, why are you doing that? They're not ready to listen. But if they say, what are you doing?
It's exactly
they're
right.
ready to listen.
It's exactly right. I couldn't agree more. And I could just tell now if somebody's genuinely interested or not.
Yeah. You can.
You could save a lot of time and energy.
Yeah.
Because if they're not interested, I'm like, okay, you'll be interested one day. You'll be wishing you had said something one day.
And some people like to bait you too, because it's I don't want to say it's making fun of you, but it's I don't know. They just like question you, but they have no intention. They really don't want to know. They just want to see how stupid you are or something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but
I get those kinds of questions every day in messages across my social media. People what are your thoughts on this? And basically what they're wanting is something that they can either argue about, or they could say, well, Brett said this, and take it to somebody else to cause conflict. What are your thoughts on protein affecting kidneys? What my thoughts are, I don't have any thoughts on it. I'm not a nephrologist. I'm a musician. I'm a carnivore promoter. I'm not qualified to even have thoughts on that. But I'm going to keep eating meat and drinking water and not worry about it.
for sure.
And
Ooh, we only have 4 minutes left. Yeah.
Yes, and you're in charge of shutting us down
That's
today.
right. That's right. Anybody have any questions before we wind things up?
And wives' tales. That's right. That's exactly right. Medical policy based on a wives' tale. But meat's rotting in your colon, Robert.
That's right. You better watch out for that.
It's absorbed in your small intestine, but it magically rots in your colon in a way that no one can ever explain. Back at you, Aunt. It's good to see you, man. Appreciate you all hanging out with us.
Aunt. Yes.
This episode will be uploaded and available if you want to share it with anybody or whatnot at the KetovoreKast YouTube page. It'll be up there by Tuesday afternoon. Unless I have to go out of town to get ready for my father's passing. That might be the only thing that slows the upload down. Thank you, Fit Before 50.
Yes, thank you. That was really sweet.
We're going to keep doing it. We appreciate you all hanging out with us. We still need fiber.
Aunt. No, Aunt.
No, we don't. Zero fiber, 396 days with zero fiber. Do I look like I'm suffering to you?
Yeah, but not necessarily from lack of fiber.
Appreciate you guys so much.
Yes, thank y'all so much.
Bob, take care. And if I don't see you again before you go elk hunting, dude, I hope you get 2.
Oh, yeah, y'all better get 2.
Just, I hope you get 2 just so that there's peace in the valley.
And to shut me up.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, y'all have a wonderful weekend, and thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And share your stories. Get the word out there. Yes.
And always remember, no matter how bad things get, we've always got something to be thankful for.
That's right.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Have a great weekend.